We're at Days of the Dead, Los Angeles, and I'm here with Vernon G. Wells.
Well, thank you, Nasty.
Yeah, nasty.
Nasty.
Can you pick up my accent from Massachusetts?
Massachusetts?
Yeah.
Oh, damn, I thought you were English.
Really?
Yeah, totally.
With the top
Yeah,
hat?
I thought you were a lord or something. You know, that rolling your ass. Ours. Yeah.
Forget nasty. I'm going with Lord. I love all these photos. I've been admiring them earlier, and I asked you what was your favorite character, and you had one that maybe not everyone remembers.
I thought one of my favorite characters that I've done was character in a film called Circle Man, which was about a retarded boxer, and the story and the film revolved around him, which I really enjoyed because even though the film was extremely violent in its own way, because it was bare knuckle boxing, it had a heart. You know, and it was this guy that was like a big child, and the only time he really got violent was if he was hurt, and that was what they did with him. They just used him by putting him in a ring, and then when somebody would hit him and he wouldn't want to hit back, but then they'd keep hitting him until they hurt him, and then he would go berserk.
Yeah, was that something like you connected to, or just what drew you to that character?
Totally. You want to stand up and we'll try it?
No, I think we're good.
No, you know what? It's funny. I don't really connect to the violence in things that I do because it's not who I am. But I understand where it comes from. I think that, like they always say, to be a good villain, you need to be able to do something that is not who you really are, because then you can look at all the different parameters of the character. If you are violent in real life, playing a violent character, you tend to pull back because you don't want to have that part of you on the screen.
Right.
Whereas I don't give a shit because I'm not violent. I'm a big cuddly teddy bear most of the time. So I can go out and look at a character and figure out all the angles and what I can do with it to make it disgustingly violent, and it doesn't worry me in the least.
Now, when you play a villain, do you like to find like a reason why they're a villain instead of just being he's an outright evil guy?
Yeah, I mean, normally if it's a reasonably well-written script, you can read between the lines, as they say, because you could virtually figure a backstory to the character by just looking at the script, reading the script, the whole script, not just your part, but the whole script. You can usually put a backstory together about who you are. Now, whether it's a right or wrong backstory doesn't matter, because you develop a persona for the character, and now you go, when I did Road Warrior, George Miller made us write a whole backstory of the character from when he was born till the film started.
Yeah.
So that we knew what our characters had gone through and what they had, and when we finished, we had to sit around like this, discuss it, and they would go, no, that's not right. He would be more, and they kept refining it until finally we had this total backstory of who we were, so that when you were doing the film, if ever you came to a point in the film where you're going, George, what do you think I should do? He would go, what would Wes do? And you'd go, well, I guess he'd rip his head off and piss down his neck, and you'd go, yeah, because you had created this backstory to the character, and so the character had a life of its own. And that's what I try to do if I'm playing somebody that's evil. I try to create a backstory to them so that I can go, if anybody says to me, well, why did you do that? I can say, because this is who the character is.
Now, when you were filming Road Warrior, did you do all your own stunts?
No. I did 90%, well, probably 80% of them. There was 2 stunts that George wouldn't let me do because he figured that I would break something. And one of them was the flip on the boardwalk on the tower, because he was terrified I'd fall on my head, which I probably would have. And the other one, there was one cross between the 2 vehicles that he wouldn't let me do because it became way too dangerous for me to do it. But every other cross, jump, you name it, hanging off vehicles and doing all that shit, that was me.
That's not just because you're here, but I think that is the best sequel. Normally sequels don't live up to the original. That one, the sequel surpasses the original.
Yeah, I think they were learning when they did the first one.
Yeah.
And what they learnt, they put into the second one. We were just lucky. And once again, they didn't have a lot of money, so everybody that worked on that film was there for one reason, because they wanted to be.
Yeah.
The third one, they had a lot of money, and it showed.
Yeah.
It didn't have that same grit. It didn't have that same thing of people. You just sort of went, I could be there. Mm-hmm. You sort of went, oh yeah, it's a film.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing about Road Warrior, which I love, is today it's more relevant than it was when we made it.
Yeah, because we're running out of fuel now.
Yeah, and that's the world we're living in now.
Yeah.
I mean, believe it or not, that is the world we're living in, where gangs and ideology is taking over from a society that's falling apart. And that's where we are.
Yeah. How long did you keep the mohawk?
Let me think. About 4 hours after I finished the film.
Right, yeah.
I actually had it for about 3 weeks before the film, because my head had to get used to the sun, because we're shooting in the desert.
So it wouldn't be obvious that you just had it shaved.
No, it wasn't that. Is your head is very white, but it's also your skin is very soft under your hair.
Yeah.
And being in the sun, you're going to burn really easy. And that was the one thing they didn't want, because they had to tan me every day. You know, they used to spray me 4 o'clock in the morning, naked, spraying. Yeah, that was fun. Nobody could ever figure out how to warm the frigging stuff up. It was always cold. But yeah, so I had it on for about 3 weeks before. And when the film was finished, I actually had to finish the film and then go into a stage play. So I had it for probably, I don't know, a day, maybe 2 days max after we finished, because George needed to make sure we didn't have any reshoots that we needed to do. And then after that, I took it off. I never realized that I should have kept it forever, but you know.
Yeah.
Nobody thought the movie would become. We all knew we'd made a special film. Yeah. We just never thought it would become what it became.
Yeah. I think part of it too is the action sequences with the vehicles. Especially nowadays when there's so many of them are CGI, and it just loses all. You could tell it's not really there, and it just loses something.
Yeah, I mean, everything we did was in camera. I mean, we were there getting the shit kicked out of us, you know.
Yeah.
But everybody was doing it and having fun doing it. You know, we're all out there. You know, it was freezing cold, and we're all out there enjoying it. Yeah. And that was the whole point of it. But these days you don't get that. The camaraderie that we had is missing on a lot of large films. Strangely enough, when I do smaller independent films, that camaraderie is there, because
everyone's
they don't
hungry,
have the money for egos to get in the way. You know, people have to be there because they want to do the film. And I think you have a lot more fun doing those. A lot of the bigger films that I do, you get heaps of money, but it's so cold, you know, people don't get friendly. Sort of, you know, nobody wants to go and have a drink and have fun. It's like nobody's kind of like, oh yeah, see you tomorrow, man. Yeah, and
it's more just a job.
Yeah.
Just real quick, you were telling me Circuitry Man. Was that? Would you say that was the hardest makeup you had to do?
One of the hardest makeups I had to do. Yes, it was. It was 4.5 hours of torture every day, but. I mean, for the character, it was fun. The funny thing is, in this photograph, the only thing that's me is my eyes and my teeth, and just the inside of my lips. Everything else is made up. And it was like 12 different pieces that they put on me, and it goes all the way down under my chest, and it was a pain in the... Yes. Yeah. It was no fun.
Yeah. So if anyone came up to you and said, "Would you put that makeup for a photo op?" Is no.
No, I'd just say, "How much money have you got?"
Well, there we go.
Say, sure, here we go. Let's do it.
Yeah. You have any upcoming projects we can look forward to?
Yes, I've got a film called Alien Hunger, which is coming out later this evening. Yeah. Later this year, and also another project. Horror film called Nowhere Else, which was shot in Australia, which will be out later this year as well. And I believe there's like 4 coming out this year, but I can't remember the names of the other 2. But those 2 will be coming out, and I'm sort of working on 4 projects at the moment.
Nice.
So I keep busy a little bit.
Yeah, excellent.
Yeah, well, there's people dumb enough to hire me, I'll keep working.
Yeah, I think they're smart.
Yeah.
That's been kind of the weekend. I've been trying to build him up. He's pushing him down. We work well together, I think. But I want to thank you for talking to me.
Laurel and Hardy.
Oh, yeah, I've actually been told I was a modern day Laurel, or is it Hardy? I don't know. I was told that once. I think it was a compliment.
Yeah. Don't tell him.
Thanks, man. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. That was my pleasure.
Thank you.
You have one of those handy dandy.
Got them up. But did you hit record already?
I did.
That's cool. Thank you.
Hey, no problem. Hey, Jim, get away.
Be gone, peasants.
Pull your head in, you make the place look like a cattle truck. Be gone, be gone.
Good for us.